Hi guys, in this video today we will be checking what all things we can do with Jenkins, what all options Jenkins contain, and how we can configure different things to utilize the tool properly for our purpose. Okay, so this is the dashboard after installing that you can see as soon as you log into the Jenkins. There are a couple of options. On the left hand side, you can see a panel where starting from the bottom you can see build executor status. So generally one instance have two jobs you can run simultaneously, which is right now idle. Above that there is a section for build queue. It will reflect what all jobs are in running status. And above there, couple of options are there, out of which let's start with manage Jenkins, which is the main thing that we will be encountering and we will be using most. So let's go to manage Jenkins. There are a couple of options in manage Jenkins. As we can see, systems, tools, plugins, most of the options that we will be using in our day-to-day life is system, tools options, plugins options, and nodes options from the system configuration section. And if we talk about the security, obviously these options are also come in hand and these are very important. So let's go one by one. Okay, so for the server configuration, for basically for the system, this option this option is basically for the server configuration or for integrating third-party tools with the Jenkins. So suppose, for example, you want to integrate SonarQube with the Jenkins. Suppose there is a requirement where you have to implement a pipeline which involves usage of SonarQube. You can set up and configure SonarQube in the pipeline using this system option. We will be covering this option in our further videos, so let's skip this for now. Next major options that usually we need to use is the plugins option. So if anything we need to use in our pipeline, we can install that from this options. So for example, or for instance, we have a project which require JDK and the Maven for building purpose, for compiling purpose. So we need to install plugins for that. So let's go into available plugins and let's search for JDK. You can install JDK via Eclipse Tamarind installer. So let's select this, and again another thing that we want, suppose Maven. So let's search for Maven and we can select Maven integration, which will have all the versions of the Maven. Another thing, we can make use of SonarQube, so we can keep it handy beforehand by installing it. So we can search SonarQube and we can get couple of options for the plugins. So the best option that we know is SonarQube Scanner. So once you have selected all the plugins that are required for your project, we can just hit install button. It will show you the progress of this. So you can see Maven integration. This is success. SonarQube, it's installing. And we have also selected this Eclipse Tamarind installer. That is also success. So now you can see everything is success. So this is the basic usage of the plugin section. Now we can go to tools section and check. For this tool section here, we can configure plugins that we have installed from the plugins section. For example, we have installed a plugin for JDK. So we can add a JDK. Let's mention it as JDK something. You can mention JDK 11. Okay, let's install. So we can click install automatically as we have you can hit the drop down option add installer, and when we were installing this plugin from the plugin section there, we installed it for adoptium.net. So similarly we can select this. There are more options that you can utilize, but I prefer to use install from adoptium.net. So let's select JDK 11 for this. Next option, we have also downloaded Sonar Cube Scanner. We can configure this as well. Sonar Cube, and I will keep it as default. We will require Maven for our project for building purpose, so we can put the name as Maven 3, and we can select any options. So let me select 3.90 randomly and hit apply. So this will save the configuration. Basically, this section revolves around configuring the plugins that we have installed and that we will be utilizing in our project. Okay, so let's go back and see more options. The notes section, this will come handy when you will be creating a slave for a master instance for the Jenkins. We will cover this section in further videos. After this, there are more sections such as security, which is responsible where you define which user can have which access. And the user section includes you can create new users in this section. And the credential section is responsible for providing and saving credential that will you will be utilizing while running the pipeline. So this is an overview of the manage Jenkins option, which is the major option that we will be using in our day-to-day life. So let's go back on the dashboard. So let's start with the very basic job, Jenkins job, which is a freestyle Jenkins job. So click on new item. I can put the name as freestyle demo. I will click freestyle project, click OK. Okay, so it will give us variety of options to configure this job. So suppose from this option you can write the description of the job, which is a good best practice. There are a couple of options you can select, out of which mostly the important one is discard old builds, because most of the times you will be building or you will be executing these jobs back to back. For example, somehow you get into some error, some issues, you will at that time you will be making changes and running the builds again. So that for the ease purpose, it doesn't get like basically to avoid occupying the large space on the virtual machine, we will enter 3 as the max number of builds to keep. So with this option it will keep the latest 3 builds. Then source code management, what exactly we will be doing. So basically what in this job what we will be doing is we will be just compiling a source code, a demo source code, which we will be fetching from Git. So we will select a Git option, repository. So we need to provide a repository URL. I already have a demo project for this. So I will put this link in the description. You can just download it and have do hands-on with this project. So I will take this URL, go to my Jenkins page and paste it in the repository URL. Okay, an internal server error occurred during form field validation. So there is some issue with this URL. Okay, my bad. So let me show you what was the issue over here. So let me just click save so that I have other options handy when I will be accessing this configuration again. So let's go back to dashboard, manage Jenkins. We see over here that Java 11 end of life in Jenkins. And as we remember in the tool section, we configured JDK to be Java 11, right? So what we will do is just change the version to 17. Let's use JDK 17 for this and apply. Okay, now we can go back to dashboard, click our job and configure, and now you see the error is gone. Okay, so apart from that, we don't need to provide credentials as this project is public, not the private project. If the repository was private, we can create credentials over here. It will take us into the credentials page under Manage Jenkins section. After that, we have to specify the branch on which we have the source code. So for this demo project, we have a code under master branch. So I will keep it as it is. For now, we don't have to deal with build triggers. We will cover this section afterwards. Build environment, no need of that. And let's go ahead with build steps. So our main goal of building a Jenkins job over here is to have some Maven commands running. So let's select invoke top level Maven targets. Let's select Maven 3. This Maven 3 option is coming from the tools where we have configured the Maven 3 goal. So goal can be anything. So as life cycle of Maven contains many different steps, so I will be specifically focusing on the compile step. So let me write compile as a goal and I will click apply. I can go back on this, hit drop down and build now. It will build my project. So you can go back to here. You can see the build history. So it's running. The code is running. You can click this build number, console output. You can see the console output over here, what all things are going in. Uh, we can scroll all the way down and we can see that build is success. So we will be we what as a goal we selected the compile option, right? So that's the purpose here to compile our code and get the byproducts of our code ready in the target folder, which is this target slash classes. So we can go back on this job. We can see on the workspace. This is the project structure that we already had. This is a new folder that Jenkins job has created and added all the byproducts of our code into this folder. So this is the very basic job that we have created. Generally, freestyle Jenkins job we usually create for small tasks, for small specific tasks, I will say. For next video on from next video onwards, we will dig deeper into different pipelines. There are two more pipelines left, so we will be working on and doing hands-on on those pipelines. So thanks everyone. So we will be ending this video over here.